Welcome, everyone. Finally, Violent Wrestling Podcast is back on the air. This is one of your hosts, Ambrose Alley, with my other
W-
cohort in crime.
We're back. I'm Mox.
And we have a special guest with us, Metal Matt.
Hey, once again on the Violent Wrestling Podcast.
It's been a
And
while.
it's been too long, but we're ready,
Indeed.
we're back, and we have no idea what we're going to be talking about. So let's get the party
Hey,
rolling.
that's normal for us.
Well, we know everyone's probably talked about the greatest Royal Rumble, so why don't we do a little pre-backlash?
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
All
Okay,
the
so
the the show that we're at least I'm anticipating it to hey, we had a brand shakeup, but we're still gonna run a show that hey, they're not on the same brand, but we got to do it. That show. Sorry, I'm not happy.
you're not happy with the co-branding shows?
No, I like the co-branding shows. I don't like the this person's on Raw, this person's on SmackDown, and not being able to tell a better story leading up to it.
Oh, yeah. I can see where you're going with that. I
Yeah,
totally
Yeah,
agree.
because there's no direction on really either show. Like specifically Raw, like SmackDown is doing a decent enough job, but Raw just has no direction right now.
that wouldn't you call that like a basically a holding pattern or
Yeah,
something to
yeah.
that effect? Like they're. I'm excited for once Backlash is over and where we're going from there, but that's probably a whole different show. Let's talk about Backlash.
Well, let's
Um,
see. I guess we start with the titles that are gonna. Well, I bet we can already guess who's going to win the Intercontinental title.
Surely it stays on Seth, right?
It's going to stay on Seth because the United States title is two SmackDown superstars battling over it.
Not only that, but the last thing we need is Miz as IC champion again. That's the last thing
Uh,
we need.
here we go. Here we go. And it's still, forgive me for, I've tried to keep up and it's still just straight on one Miz versus Seth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wasn't sure if they changed it to multi man or anything like that. Yeah, then Seth retains here.
Yeah.
It'll be a good match. Like I'm that's I think really the that and I don't know the Shinsuke AJ match we'll talk about later, but really the only like hey that the match that pops out to me is Seth and Miz. Seth has just been on fire.
Yes, he has. He's really turned the IC title into a workhorse title.
Miz did that.
Yeah, right.
He made that
I'm
title
sorry.
boring, man. Like, he really did.
Oh, let the
Because
hate flow. Let the hate flow.
because with Miz, it's the same crap over and over again. Like, do we really need a Miz TV segment every week, every single week? WWE, if you are listening to this podcast, it is okay It is perfectly fine not to have a Miz TV every single week. You can go a week without a Miz TV. You can go a week without a Miz promo. We don't need it. The show will not be in danger of canceling if he doesn't cut a promo. It will be perfectly fine. There we go.
Wow, we're back and pushing buttons already.
Had to let out my inner fizz promo.
Well, I see you did a very nice job.
Thanks.
So, what you're saying is you love the Miz and want to see him more, right?
Hell no.
That's what I gathered from that was you need more Miz on your TV. That's
no, 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 no.
and I get and I'll try looking at both sides of the road with any wrestler, like wrestlers I love, wrestlers I don't like, and I get where people that are wrong don't like the Miz, but I really do. He's so good, and yes, his allotted time on a weekly basis is, lack of a better term, like, well, shoot, I'd have to come up with the term first. Um, it's underwhelming because it is repetitive, but I like the Miz. He's good. You're supposed to hate him. I'm not supposed to like him.
He's the
And
kind of
yeah,
guy
he
you
is.
love. You love him. You want to see his face get punched in.
Yeah, he's and he definitely succeeds there. Obviously,
Well, the thing with me is like I've honestly tried like the Miz. I have genuinely tried to give him a chance. I can't do it. I just cannot do it. If people like the Miz, that's perfectly fine. But for me, I just cannot do it. Like I tried, I just can't do it. I think he's very overrated. And for me, Miz gets go away heat with me. It's like it's not just I want to see him. I just don't want to see him on my TV anymore. To the point where now, whenever he cuts a promo, whenever he does Miss TV, I just up and change the channel, the MTV Classic, because that's how much I cannot stand him. I just changed the channel at that point.
damn. Now that's a little different than just like, oh, like rolling your eyes like and sighing, and like if you're legit changing the channel, that's different than just I don't like what would I can't stand them as a heel. That's a whole different ball game.
Right.
And I get that. Like it is monotonous. It does get boring. And you said overrated. He's definitely overrated. As far as a great promo when it's not the Miz TV stuff. I mean, we every week we know how Miz TV is going to start, how it's going to end. But when he like on the talking smack stuff, and when it's not Miz TV and he just has a mic, he's really good at that. He's still not so great in the ring. It, Mike Mizanin just gets his overall character for. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I I have a migraine and I took some medicine, and so my brain is kind of scattered. But
I thought you just had too much to drink.
How dare you? Where do you fall on the Miz line, AA?
The Miz line, well, he's entertaining in small quantities, not every week, like maybe once or twice a month. And his promos are good when he needs to build a story.
Yeah, he'll definitely do that. He'll get you to the story.
Well, it's fairly certain, I think, that Seth Rollins is going to retain the Intercontinental Championship so it stays on Raw because that's the only men's single title that is really on Raw. You can't have the
And
Universal title.
I fell asleep toward about halfway through Raw. Are we just did they not bring up the green belt from Greatest Royal Rumble? Was that just what we thought it was, and just a thing that happened there and stayed there?
It was probably just a one-time only thing.
Yeah, that's okay. So it wasn't mentioned outside of like the promos that they showed him winning the trophy and the belt and holding it up with Vince and the officials, and
They
it
did show the
wasn't
trophy. They
okay.
did show the trophy.
So surely that's not going to be a added belt, or um, surely that was just a one off, or whenever they go there, that kind of, surely they're not going to try to implicate that into an actual belt that's on TV.
I don't think so because from what I remember, I don't think Braun had it on Raw. I don't think he had it on Raw. Um, I,
No,
I I could be wrong, but I don't think he had it. It'd be
I didn't
nice if
like it.
it'd be nice if he had it on Raw. That way we have a world champion. But
I, I fell asleep. Like I say, when speaking of, what the hell was that opening segment about?
oh, Roman got screwed. That's basically what it was. And I mean,
again.
he is right. I mean, he is honestly right.
But isn't this like turning into a road to nowhere?
A little bit because I don't know. Like I don't know what's going to happen from here on out.
Um, but on even live on Raw with the replay and WWE's Twitter and even the officials, the referee, I forget his name off the top of my head, like all the, well, I apologize, and then he apologized that he wasn't, he just made a call because he was worried about the safety of the wrestlers, and then WWE on Raw put up a still shot of Roman's feet being on the floor and Brock's not. Then what are we doing? Like, overturn it or don't. Just don't. Like, it's an endless road, a pointless road.
It's
Yeah, go on.
it's simple. They're going to have Brock break Punk's record so they can wipe Punk off the books, and they're just going to keep that title to where it's basically has no meaning at all. The Universal title
Oh,
has
they
no meaning.
yeah, it hasn't had meaning in a long, long time, but they're making it even more irrelevant than it ever was.
If you want to give it meaning and put it on a part timer, put it on John Cena. At least you do something with it.
Yeah, I think what this is all going to lead to, I'm sure it'll lead to like one final match between Roman and Brock, either at Money in the Bank or at SummerSlam or something like that. And as far as the Punk thing goes, I don't know if that was necessarily a conscious decision on WWE's part. It was probably just a happy little coincidence. I don't think they necessarily put the title on Brock with the intention to break Punk's record. I think it was just something that just kind of happened by happenstance. But yeah,
Yeah,
Brock as a title, it's gotten old at this point. It got old a long time ago. I get why they have Brock as champion. I really do, but I don't know. It's not worth it. You know, it just isn't worth it. Raw needs a full time world champion in the worst way.
you say you get it. Can you delve a little further into that?
Well, I think it's because like their mindset, and I think Paul Heyman has said this before. It's like, you know, when you put the title on someone like Brock Lesnar, who is a quote special attraction, which I don't really buy, but they tried to build him as a special attraction. So I get that, and I also get that they feel that the less the Universal title is defended, the more it means when it is defended. Which, you know what, I don't buy that either. Because here's the thing, like maybe in 1979 that worked. Maybe in the past decades or so, like in the 60s and the 70s, back when kayfabe was alive and kicking, maybe then it worked. It's not 1979 anymore. It's 2018. That doesn't
Greatest
work
year ever, by
anymore.
the way. I was born that year. Anyway, yeah, it's.
Times have
I agree
changed.
with. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think at 33, WrestleMania 33, I don't think this was the trajectory. Like that, like, hey, we're gonna have this happen. It's just kind of happened. But my rebuttal is if Brock is such a quote unquote special attraction, he doesn't need that belt.
Exactly. Exactly.
They they don't do each other any favor. He's not doing that belt any favor, and him having that belt isn't doing him any favor.
That's so very true. They don't need each other, but that universal belt needs to be on Raw. It needs to be seen. It needs to be defended.
I just and I love my wrestling. I watch wrestling a lot more than I should. I My family loves wrestling. My son is getting back into it. He still loves it, but he's actually like I went through about 6 months or so a year ago where he eh oh Raw's on or oh this pay per view's coming on, but he's starting to like it's Monday that means Raw or it's you know or Friday we took him out of school early. Hopefully no teachers are listening. Took him out of school so he can watch the Greatest Royal Rumble. He he still went a half day. He didn't. It was a Friday. They don't do anything on Friday anyway. They were going to watch a movie. So we he's getting back into it, and even my 9-year old son it doesn't like the fact that Brock is not just, it's not Brock, that's not the problem. That there's no, the highest echelon champion isn't around.
Right. Well, also what gets me, everyone is screaming about how all these chances that Roman's gotten at the championship against Brock at the Universal Championship. But are they complaining about Nakamura having all these chances at the title from AJ? No.
Speak, nice lead in. Let's talk about AJ versus Knock at Backlash.
This is a match I'm not sure how it's going to go. This is one I can't real. This isn't one match I'm not sure. I'm not confident enough to pick who's going to win. Who's going to walk away with this one.
This is my wild card match.
This is one of two wild card matches.
I feel like at this point, Nakamura has to win because when this is like, I think like his fifth attempt at the championship because he had two matches against Jinder and then two matches against Styles. So this is going to be his fifth chance at the title. And not only that, but Nakamura just turned heel. If you want to have Nakamura be a credible heel, he has to win here.
No, it's a no. It's a no disqualification. So yeah, but it
They made it
depends.
no DQ.
Yep, it's a DQ. No DQ.
Yeah, on SmackDown
Oh.
they made it no DQ.
Anything goes.
Which means we'll get yet another spot of Nakamura kicking Styles in the nuts again.
I was about to say dick punches for everybody.
Yeah, and speaking of that, man, it is getting so old. Man, like really just the whole Nakamura heel shtick for me is getting old. Like for me, the shock value is worn off pretty quickly. It was interesting at first, but now it's a bit repetitive. They're doing the low blow thing too many times. Like even Stone Cold on his podcast has said that he's doing it too many times. And
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it's kind of worn off. I feel like it should have been the other way around. I think Styles should have turned heel and Nakamura should have stayed face, but that's just me.
And the dark match after SmackDown where he faced Daniel Bryan, he did a low blow. Like it was so good that WrestleMania turn, like that was okay. And he was so good the Tuesday after, like okay, this is the Nakamura, you know, at least there's some substance to it. But you can't do that every week and keep traction. It starts losing its appeal. It starts losing the value. Like, you know, you just start, oh, when's the nut shot coming?
Yeah, once, maybe twice, and they should have just dropped it. It's not because now everyone's expecting it every time.
Yeah, like, it was amusing the first couple of times, but now it's like, do something else. Like, please, like, do something else to get heat. Just the low blows, it's happened way too much, in my opinion.
So
and it's become. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so you're saying that Nakamura is going to take the belt from Styles?
I think so. I feel like he pretty much has to win because if he doesn't win, he's going to be a choke artist because this is his fifth opportunity at the title, and he's lost 4 times, and it's a no disqualification match. So he has no freaking excuse. He has no excuse at all. And if you want like it seems like they want Nakamura to be one of the top heels on SmackDown, and if you want him to have even a shred of credibility, you have him win the title. I
Well,
mean,
he is the artist, Michael.
I would argue that he should have won the title of Mania because it was the right time, but I don't know. This whole storyline is just that I would have booked it completely differently, personally.
Can we talk about how bad the AJ Nakamura matches have been? Greatest Royal Rumble was better than WrestleMania, but that's not saying very much.
Well, their WrestleMania match was definitely underwhelming. I mean, but
And
they
yeah,
were go
let me
on.
cor- let me correct myself real quick. Not bad per se. Like
Right.
there's a lot better or a lot worse, but just not what we're expecting or what could be. They've been very both big WrestleMania and quote unquote the greatest Royal Rumble, and both matches just did not live up to the hype or what they could do. And after WrestleMania, and then when they said they were gonna have this match at the Greatest Royal Rumble, like okay, like I get like I'll forgive the WrestleMania match, but they're gonna bring it this time. They have to bring it this time, and I was still eh.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the WrestleMania match is that there's a lot of factors that wins against it. Like for one, it was a face versus face match, which I mean, personally for me, I just think so rarely work. Like it's very rare that a face versus face or a heel versus heel match actually works. And also the fact that they kept typing it up as a dream match, and it seems like that's all the effort they were willing to put in. They were pretty much banking on the appeal of it being a dream match. And I'm sorry, but you can't do that. You just cannot, say, oh well, it's a dream match. It'll sell itself. Like you need to actually write a story for it. You actually have to put some friggin' effort into it. And
Exactly.
and third, in the case of WrestleMania, like WrestleMania, it was a really long show. I think people were just kind of just ready for that main event. So I think
Oh yeah,
people just kind of tuckered out at that point in time. The Greatest
yeah,
Royal Rumble match,
and where they
what?
were on the card, like it it wasn't for many reasons for none little fault to the performers. It was just very flat. That's why I was expecting more at GRR
Hmm.
like that. But even that was a long show. Good gracious!
Yeah, yeah,
But
it
like,
suffered
okay,
from that.
they surely
Go
they
on.
they've got feedback from the WrestleMania match and and this even goes back to New Japan. I Nakamura's up there, one of my favorites. He makes the list, but and the people, well, you haven't watched him in New Japan. Where you have conversations of Nakamura phones it in, Nakamura hasn't impressed me, and you get rebuttals of, well, you haven't, check out his stuff in New Japan. He did the same thing in New Japan. When Nakamura is on his game, Nakamura is on his game. But he's always had this, um, I don't want to say slacker mentality because that man works his ass off, but he's done it his entire career. Like he's not. I don't want to say he doesn't care because I know he does. But when the he picks and chooses, I guess I don't never met the man, don't know the man, but just from from watching him for all these years, like the Sami Zayn Nakamura match, his debut, oh my God, that's top Nakamura.
Yeah, I just
And
watched
I
that
thought,
match today. As a matter of fact, it's a great match.
but I don't know why he does it. He just, but it's not WWE's limiting his abilities or his moves or those kind of arguments. He's always done that, and he's older. Like when I say always, his younger days, like he was always on. But and I would probably do the same if I'm, you know, like extend my career by not going balls out every match. Sorry, I went off on a little tangent there.
Quite all right. We never know what's going to happen on this podcast.
We're crazy, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing with the Greatest Royal Rumble match as well is like it was a bit better, but there was still something missing. I don't know. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Part of me feels like it might have been jet lag because watching that show, there were a lot of botches on that show, and
Oh
it felt
my
like everyone.
God.
It just felt like everyone was tired.
Yes, and not just the botches and the mistimings. You could see it on a lot of their faces, like they were. When you can look at somebody and tell, like, "Damn, you're tired. Like you need some sleep. You need some rest." Like you could literally like physically see, like, "Damn, you're tired. Get some rest." So, last call on the AJ Shinsky match. I'm assuming Shin wins. That's my prediction.
It's about time. I think they're going to get the belt off of Styles anyway. Because he does better chasing as a face.
Yeah, I do think it's time for Styles to kind of lose the title. I don't think he really needs it anymore at this point.
So
And
that's
since,
three. Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, so that's three for Nakamura.
Yep. So let's ease on from this since we know that Rollins is probably going to retain, let's go over to Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton for the United States Championship.
Is it? Wait a minute. What did It's Hardy. What happened to Gender?
He got dropped from the Raw.
But isn't he still in the? Oh, he got his rematch at GRR. See,
Yeah.
that's another one of my gripes is that they split rematches and stuff up too. So this is just Randy Orton versus
Jeff
Jeff
Hardy.
Hardy. Ooh, Matt, I'll let you go first on this one. Let me stew on it.
Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton. I don't know. It could be. It could be a solid match. It's been a long time since these two have faced off, so I don't know how it's going to go. I mean, it could be a decent match. I don't think Jeff Hardy loses the title this soon. I think it stays on him for a couple more months. I don't think Orton is going to win it quite so soon.
Has Orton ever been U.S. champ?
He
Yes.
won it at Fastlane and then he lost it at WrestleMania.
The U.S. champ?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Sorry, yeah, okay.
It was a very forgettable reign.
Okay, I was just so he's already a Grand Slam champ.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to think of reasons to put it on Orton. Like if he's already a Grand Slam champ, then and I knew that I just had a brain fart. Like
So, what do you think, Mox? Jeff Hardy or Randy Orton?
um well to start with, I don't like the fact that now that we have woken Matt, like I want Brother Nero so bad. So so I don't like that to begin with. But Randy doesn't need it. Randy Randy's Randy, and I know some people don't like him and they call him Randy Borton, and I like Randy, but I'll go with Matt here and say that Jeff retains. There's no sense in Randy winning it just to win it, and then I don't see where they would go from there. And to a point Matt brought up earlier, this is a face versus face, and that's kind of eh. I know Orton did his RKO, on Jeff after their or during after whichever their tag match on SmackDown. And that's always been Randy Orton. And RKO out of nowhere. I just don't see. Maybe this will lead to Nakamura wins the championship and then Randy chases him or something. Jeff Hardy retains. That's my prediction.
This is my wild card match. Because I'm really not sure how this one's going to go.
Hardy and Orton.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
I could
I'm not
see.
going to
I
call
could see
this one.
both sides. Oh no, no, no! Don't you cop out. You gotta come on.
Well, I'm probably going to be wrong on this one, but I've always been an Orton fan. So I'm going to hope that Randy gets the belt.
See, this is why we're friends. I I just don't. I'm trying to look at it like past backlash. Like where would they go? That's why I choose Hardy. But I could see putting on putting it on Orton. So that's two for Hardy, one for Orton.
Yep. And then let's not forget the women. Let's go with Carmella versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
My this would be, if you want to consider it, my second wild card match. I don't think it's a wild card, but you never know. Matt, let's start with you.
Well, this match, I don't know how this match is going to go. I really don't. It could be a decent enough match, but Carmella, for as good as a character as she is, she's not great in the ring. She's not awful by any means, but I don't know if she's, as far as in ring wise, is ready to be the top heel in the SmackDown Women's division. With that said, though, I don't think Carmella's losing here. I don't think Carmella's going to hold the title very long, but I don't think she loses it here. I do think that this match will be a bit overbooked. I think there's going to be all kinds of interference. I do think that Becky comes out. I think that the Iconics come out, and I think the Iconics are somehow able to cost Charlotte the title, and Becky and Charlotte feud with the Iconics for a little bit.
AA.
Well, I agree with Matt that Carmella is a great character, but she's not on Charlotte's level in the ring.
She's better.
Huh.
Sorry.
No, she is
I-
not.
The other Matt will get a laugh out of that.
So, and I don't know if Charlotte's had a long enough reign with the belt. So I think that they might keep it on Carmella via a DQ or a count out. Is how Charlotte is going to win via disqualification or a count out, but Carmella's going to retain. Is how I see it happening.
Okay, we got to go ahead.
Because there's going to be interference of some kind.
We have to quit agreeing so much. Just it's pretty obvious. Carmella retains, but there's going to be a lot of messery to the match. There's it won't be a Carmella pin. Excuse me, pins Charlotte clean. Middle of the mat. There's going to be a lot of foolery, and I'm not exactly sure who, what, or why, but there's going to be. It's going to end in a DQ, whether it be for Charlotte or Carmella, but there's not going to be a pin.
Yeah. I think that's what's going to happen as well. And I do agree with AA in the sense that Charlotte doesn't need the title anymore. I think she's held it long enough. I do think it is time to give somebody else a chance with the belt. I wouldn't really put it on Carmella for a super long time. There is somebody who I would like to see with the title back. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but there is one person I would. Yep. And I would go on a complete rant, but I'm just going to stay calm, cool, and collected like a cool little cucumber.
A cool little cucumber over Becky?
That's not you.
What happened to Matt? What happened to Matt O'Matt?
Yeah. I mean, I could go on a rant, but
rant.
I don't know if people would be interested.
Want rants. We want rants. We want rant.
We want rant.
Well, okay, since everybody, okay, by popular demand, I guess I can go on this rant. I think they have really underutilized Becky Lynch so much. Like, really her entire main roster career, really, but the past year is just it's been insane. Like, she really needed to go to Raw in the shakeup. She needed a change of scenery. Now she's in limbo because at best she's Charlotte's best friend. At worst, she has a Kurt Hawkins exclusion streak gimmick, which I wouldn't be surprised if they gave her. And me and Taker's Minion, we have debated so much on this. We have debated this topic so much. Taker's minion thinks that Becky Lynch should turn heel, and everybody else thinks that as well. I don't think that should happen.
Nope.
I really don't
Nope.
think that should happen. Because you know what you do to have Becky Lynch, regain her momentum, simply book her better. That's all there is to it.
Have her
That's
have her
all there is
win
to it.
a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'll borrow a line from Don Sal here. Booking, it's not that hard. Like, man, this just makes me angry because like
Oh,
Becky, like one of the most talented women in the women's division. Not only that, she's one of the most over faces, really in the entire company. And the thing with that
I was gonna
is,
say like that transcends not just the women. Like she's one of the most talented on the roster. Period, and one of the most over faces. Period. Men, women. It does,
And
she
Braun.
well, true.
yeah, I mean, just and she is one of the most over faces. Like there are some women like Alexa Bliss who are over based on their promo ability, and there's people like Charlotte who are over based purely on her wrestling ability. Becky is over on both of those accounts. And the thing with Becky is that no matter how badly she's been booked, and she has been booked badly, I would go so far as to say
Horribly.
I would go so far as to say she is the worst booked wrestler in the entire company. But you know what? She is still over. She is
She,
still over to this day.
regardless of the booking, she still gets cheered. She still gets pops, and that says a lot about the performer. Like
Absolutely.
she over a year now. It's I don't want to go all conspiracy theory or that kind of talk, but like they have run her into the ground as far as like where some people have an argument of, hey, well, you got over organically, and so we're gonna BERRY you. She still gets more of a reaction than 90% of the wrestlers.
Totally. Totally. And I mean, it's like Stone Cold said, like people like when he was being booked badly, in 2002, when he decided to walk out of WWE, it's like, man, I don't have a big head, but guys like me don't come around every day. Like, don't come around. And really, it's the same with Becky. Like when you have someone who is over based on both her promos and her wrestling ability, and she's someone who, even despite being booked right into the ground, is still getting cheers. That's something you gotta take advantage of. That is something you like. People like her, faces like Becky, don't come around every day,
Do
and
you think they just don't know what to do with her?
that's exactly what it is. I think they have no clue what to do with her, and that's why I she really needed to go to Raw. And I mean, who's to say that she wouldn't have had the same fate on Raw? But I would have at least been interested to see what she would have done. But
Yeah.
yeah, I do think that they just don't know what to do with her. They just don't know what they have with her, and it's really a shame. It frustrates the hell out of me because it's the thing. Like it's so weird because I have seen this company book her well in the past. I have seen her being booked well. We get before Fastlane, she beat Carmella 1-on-1. She beat Ruby Riot, a few weeks before WrestleMania. They can book her well, they just choose not to. And that's my rant is done. Just put the title. Actually, I actually do have a plan. I actually have a year-long plan. It's foolproof. It cannot possibly fail.
Oh Lord. Yeah, he's. Go ahead.
So
If
here's what you
if
do.
anybody if anybody has watched his Impractical Jokers, when Murr says I have a foolproof plan, it always fails. So what's your foolproof plan for the year?
Well, here's what you do. It's too late for them to do a match of Backlash. However, you know, about a few weeks later, or SmackDown, you have a tag match: Becky Lynch and Charlotte versus the Iconics. You build up this match for about a week or so. When that match comes, you have Becky and Charlotte win, and you have Becky submit Peyton. We then go a couple of weeks later to Money in the Bank. Have Becky Lynch win Money in the Bank. At Battleground or Great Balls of Fire, have Carmella beat Naomi to retain the SmackDown title. Becky Lynch comes out, and everybody thinks, oh, she might cash in. But no, 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 no. Becky Lynch gets on the mic and says that she's not going to cash it in here right now, but she's going to cash it in at SummerSlam. And she does at SummerSlam. She cashes in Money in the Bank in advance, and she beats Carmella for the title. And she holds that title until Survivor Series. A few weeks before Survivor Series, Charlotte turns on Becky. Survivor Series, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. Charlotte wins the title. TLC, you have a rematch. And it goes to a no contest because they absolutely beat the crap out of one another. We go through the Royal Rumble. Second ever women's Royal Rumble match. Have Becky Lynch win that. The Fast Lane, you have a match where one of the iconic duo, Peyton. You have Becky Lynch versus Peyton, while you have Charlotte Flair defend the title against maybe Asuka or Naomi or whoever one of the top faces is on SmackDown at the time that isn't Becky Lynch. So you have Charlotte and Becky win their matches at Fastlane or Elimination Chamber or whatever it is. Then at WrestleMania, the big match, the big showdown. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title. So the very last time this match will ever happen. And if Becky Lynch loses, she will have to leave WWE forever. Becky Lynch wins the match, beats Charlotte Flair, overcomes the villain at WrestleMania. She wins the SmackDown Women's title and holds it for about 6 months. That's the plan.
Interesting.
There's only one problem
I'll,
with the plan. WWE creative cannot carry out a plan that long.
Oh, I know. But I mean, WWE, if you're listening, this is a free idea. I am lending you this free idea. I
no
advise
royalties
you to
needed.
take it.
I do at least part of that. Like I said the other day, like I think a Raw woman is going to win the Money in the Bank. But as I pondered on that later, and she's a face, and that's okay. Becky as Money in the Bank, it's just money, literally money. I know Carmella is money and all that jazz, but Becky having the case is money.
Yes.
Now the rest of your fantasy booking,
It's perfect. I know.
yeah. But money in going through both rosters, who would at the time might have the titles, who would be in title matches, and trying to decipher that. And I keep coming back to Becky. Becky is. I don't see a better option than Becky having having the case. Has there been any clarification if whoever wins, does it matter which brand they cash in on?
I don't think it's ever been like I don't think it's ever been like official. With this year, I have to imagine there's going to be people from both brands. I think there's going to be a men's Money in the Bank match and a women's Money in the Bank match, and those two matches are going to be both brands.
Right, but I'm saying like if say Becky wins and she's on SmackDown, could later she possibly cash in on the other day? I think the same day that I was talking about just a minute ago. Like there's three options. One, they announce it, whoever wins can cash in on their brand. Two, whoever wins can cash in on either brand. Three, they can cash in only on their brand, but if a story gets stale or whatever and they, need it, that the commentators will just cover like, hey, she can't do that. She's from SmackDown. Well, welcome to Raw.
I think it's for their own brand. I can only think of one instance off the top of my head where that happened, and it was when Edge beat Mr. Kennedy for the briefcase in 2007, and then he ended up jumping to SmackDown and beat Undertaker for the world title by cashing it in. That's the only time off the top of my head I can think of where different brands.
That's what that's what I keep going back to is there's some precedent there, but I even said the same conversation. I think this time they're gonna try to keep the brands more separate than before. But it has happened. But I think they're gonna do a better job this time. A better job meaning like if a SmackDown men and women, if a SmackDown person wins, it's going to be specifically SmackDown. But it's WWE, and if they need to or want to or have to, I could see them. What's Becky doing on Raw? Why is she cashing in on? She's SmackDown. Well, welcome to Raw, Becky. What other matches do we have in Backlash?
We have Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Oh, real
Poor
quick,
Bobby Lashley.
So that was all three for Carmelo retaining, and I think all three by nefarious means.
Right.
Okay. Braun and Bobby versus Kevin and Sammy.
Yep.
One of you guys have to take this first, because
well, this match it's purely filler. Like it pure is filler. Like we saw this exact match on Raw. There's really no reason to really have this match other than to get everybody on the card. That's really the only reason. Bobby Lashley he has not been used well since he came back. Like I don't know, just it doesn't seem like they have a plan for him. It just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like they really have a plan for him, and they haven't really been highlighting him really because every time he's been in a match on Raw, it's been a tag match, and two, somebody else has gotten the win. I don't know. I just feel like they could be using him a little bit better and a little bit smarter than they have. I don't know. Maybe they're building towards a Lesnar Lashley match, which if that's the case, why not make Lashley look as strong as possible leading up to it? Starting from here.
if they're building to a Lesnar Lashley match, they've already missed the first few steps.
Right.
That, I mean, he wow.
As far as who wins the match, I think it's gonna be Strowman and Lashley. I don't know. I don't think Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn win here. I think Strowman and Lashley win here.
Isn't this just a weird match? Like, yeah, it's
It
filler,
really
and
is.
but it just looking at it, isn't it such a weird?
It really is. Um, but I think it's going to be Strowman and Bobby. It's going to be Strowman and Lashley winning, and Strowman is going to get the pin on Sammy.
Yeah, I'll go with Bobby and Strowman, and this might be the I don't want to say surprise, and I really don't want to say swerve. This might be the match where something happens that we're not expecting, like either with Cammy or Strowman, Lashley, something else. It's just so paper that it's has the feel of maybe something else is happening. I just don't get what they're doing in that situation. I mean, Bobby Lashley's no Nicholas, so I mean, let's be real. Crickets. I make a joke and I get crickets. Seriously?
We still love you.
Yeah, yeah. I that just this whole post WrestleMania. I just it's been weird to say the least. You have the WrestleMania, you have after WrestleMania, you have the shakeup, you have GRR and Backlash, and it's not flowing so well. Bueller,
Bueller.
Bueller.
I guess there's really not much to say about this match.
Yeah, I that was my opinion on it. I'll pick Braun and Lashley, and I'm a huge KO mark, but I just what's the point?
Okay, then
What's the next match?
let's move. Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass.
Oh, please, somebody go first before I rant.
Let's hear your rant. 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 We want to
Yes,
rant.
rant. Rant. I have my rant. It's only fair you have your own rant.
Oh, good lord, I need another beer. Oh, I don't want to. Dang it! I'm. Oh, I know where this is going. And when I say I know, I mean like I don't actually know, but I can feel why are they so why none of this makes sense. It does, but it doesn't. Why is Cass attacking Daniel Bryan on his return? Like what?
That's the best way to get
Why?
heat if you're a heel.
Yeah, it is a pretty random feud.
And that's my second issue. Why did they choose Cass to be the one they want a heat magnet on?
Because I'm sure they have big plans for him.
Well, no shit, Sherlock. But
Yeah, you
that
asked the
doesn't.
question. You asked the question. I gave you the answer.
Well, that's my question. Is what what do they see? What am I missing that they see?
They see the size. That's about it, but they see the size.
I swear to God, yeah, he's a big dude. Like he's not even that big. He's tall. Like I get that. Like okay, and why else are we doing this?
That's the only reason. The size, man.
And that baffles me. Like you have all this talent, all this talent, and I'm not, and I kind of am, but I'm not really trying to bash on Cass. I like Cass to some degree. Did like Cass, like he, but he is so generic. I I I just don't see. I don't see what they see. I guess, and I've apparently pissed everybody off. Yep, it's just me.
I mean, the thing with Cass is like he's okay as a solo act, I guess. The thing is like I've been watching all of these NXT takeover matches, and like the biggest mistake they ever did was split up Enzo and Cass. I mean, I get that things didn't quite work out with Enzo, but the thing is like they had a formula, it worked, they were over, and both of them it's very obvious why they were put in a tag team together. It was to hide their weaknesses because both guys aren't particularly good, but I think with their tag
Sorry.
team with a tag team, they hit each other's weaknesses very well. Enzo played a good face and apparel. He can sell pretty well. And Cass, he had a very good hot tag. He had a good comeback. So I think they worked as a tag team really well. As far as solo acts go, I think both of them really struggled. Um, but
Oh,
also,
definitely. They needed each other.
yeah. But I mean, the thing with
They
Cass is, go on.
go ahead. No,
Oh,
go ahead.
I was just going to say that we haven't really seen much of what Big Cass can do as a solo act because he was only solo a couple of months before he got injured. So I'm willing to wait and see how he does as a solo act this time around. But yeah, I think he was better off in the tag team, to be honest.
Yeah, and I agree. And I always take the wait and see approach. Like wrestling in general, I do get frustrated, and I do, but I don't. What the Daniel Bryan thing? By the way, in case I forget, my prediction is, um, believe it or not, Cass either wins clean or by disqualification, or Bryan wins because Cass is disqualified. That's that's my prediction. But I just I don't know. So many things. I mean, we've waited so long for Debra to come back, and we get this.
Well, I'm not. I think the reason they did this was just to get Big Cass some heel heat, and the best way to do that was to go after Daniel Bryan. And
Yeah, I agree there. Like just to solidify, like remember, I turned on Enzo. I'm a hill. Since Enzo is no longer around, they couldn't reiterate that, so they.
so, but I'm going to say Dana Bryan takes Big Cass down.
Is that you made it sound like that was leading to something else? Because Cass is a big dude. Daniel Bryan, not such a big dude. Are we? Were you saying that with speculation of where Bryan is going, or
I'm thinking of Daniel and Goliath. Pun
you
intended.
were thinking what I thought you were thinking? Okay.
But yeah, I think Daniel Bryan wins here. I heard that when they decide to extend the feud a bit with some kind of no contest finish.
Is it even a feud?
I mean, it's been going on for a few weeks, so I would say
Yeah,
so.
I guess that's acceptable. I just some things I wonder about. I don't know. Dead air, dead air, dead air.
Dead air. Well, next on the list would be Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship.
Why is this match
Can I go
happening
for?
again?
Can I go first?
Sure.
What? What the is this? Why are we? I mean, I guess rematch clause and all, but what what are we doing that we haven't already done? There since even leading up to WrestleMania, there's well, we do have a minute of bliss, which I thoroughly enjoy. Let me give my prediction first. Nia retains, but Alexa Bliss is in such a weird place. I don't know what they're trying to do with her. She, I'm assuming, and I'm probably way off, that they're trying to ease their way into a face turn eventually. It won't happen Sunday, but like they're trying. That's the little road, like a little dirt road down by the creek, that they're trying to go that direction.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for this match to be happening other than the fact that it's a rematch clause. Other than that, there's really no reason for this match to be happening. The storyline wrapped up at WrestleMania. And I don't know, just really is no reason to continue this feud. I think Nia wins. There's really no reason for Alexa to be champion again so soon, and
Please God no.
Alexa just
Please
needs
God
to
no.
take a break from the title. Just maybe have her set out maybe a few TV weeks, just kind of cool her off, you know.
And I say please God no as like probably the biggest Alexa Bliss mark. But please don't put the belt back on her. Please, it was already overdue at WrestleMania. Like it was overdue long ago. It almost became. I think everybody knows me and my issue with Austin the streak, and it started becoming that for me. Like just get it over with. Just get it over with. Develop your character outside of a streak or championship or title hunt. Like do something else. Be more than just this is my character. I'm either champion or I'm fighting for a championship. Like move away from that. And crickets.
Yeah, I mean, Alexa really doesn't need a title at this point. I'm really not sure what she could possibly do after this. I don't know.
That's a big underlying issue is secondary feuds within the women's division. Like they've programmed like you have the women's championship and who's vying for it, and then basically nothing. They need to correct that ship, and they're doing. I will say this much: they're doing a fairly decent job with the Sasha Bailey tension. Sasha and Bailey are doing better on Twitter of the animosity, but at least that's a thing that's happening that's not title related. That we're it's taken forever, but still.
It's clear that they're putting more effort into it than the writers are.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're giving us more than what outside of TV than TV is giving us. Like, ooh, it's like a daily basis of the shade they show each other. Phone works both ways. I think that was Bailey yesterday. it's just a recurring thing that they and they say it's acknowledged on TV, just not to the degree that they're acknowledging it outside of TV.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like, I think what they're trying to do is do a slow burn for it, but it's also getting to the point where when they do it, nobody's going to care because they've waited
Yeah,
so long, and now
there.
it's too late. It would be too late.
Yeah, I love long stories. I love slow burns. I'm all for that stuff. To be honest, I don't care anymore. That they seriously like they've ruined it for me. I guess for lack of a better way of putting it. I don't care.
And I don't blame you. It should have happened. It really should have happened at WrestleMania.
Even if given they were pre-show and battle royal, and if it didn't happen there, at least the following Monday with Smarkmania, you have a raucous crowd. If there wasn't an actual turn at the rumble at the battle royal, at least do it that Monday and start to maybe a SummerSlam. But this dragging on in any story, any TV show, any book, any kind of entertainment, you can only be dragged along for so long before you just lose interest in how long it's taking to tell the story. In my opinion, but my opinion, it's like everybody else's. We all have one. Hey,
Yeah.
oh,
I really don't have an opinion on this. I'm just letting it go and see what happens. It's just it's just like they've dried up any kind of enthusiasm. There's no enthusiasm. Nothing that makes you want. You can't wait to tune in the next week to see what's going to happen because it's going to be more of the same. They've
exactly.
taken too long.
Yeah. And then when it eventually does come, it's like, well, I don't even have a watch on, but I just held my wrist up and looked at it. Like, well, it's taken 6 months to get here. And we all know it's coming. The sad part is, and I don't want to speak for the majority, but get it over with. Like that's how I feel. Like, hey, it was good. Like it, hey, can't wait. Let's see who turns on who. And now it's just like get it over with and let's go. Um, did you pick Naya for your pick?
Yeah, Naya's going to retain.
Okay, so that's 3 for 3 for Naya.
And now we get to the elephant in the room.
Oh
Roman
Lord,
Reigns versus Samoa Joe.
you go first.
Reigns has to win this one. He just has to. He's lost at two
You have
big
to.
pay-per-views. He's got to win this one.
You have to be more descriptive than that. Why does he have to win?
He just needs the win. He needs, if nothing else, just to get back on track. Of course, I'm not sure what track, but there's a
Are there
track out
tracks
there.
anymore?
Yes, there's a track out there for him. I'm just not sure which track it is. And besides, I'm not a big fan of Samoa Joe.
Well, we know that. Matt.
Um, as far as the match goes, I think it'll be a really good match. Joe and Roman have had really good matches in the past, so I think this match will be good. I just wish there was, I just wish that there were stakes to this match. I just wish that there was a title on the line or just something. As far as who should win, I don't know. I really don't know who should win because I think both guys need a win right now. I think both guys need a huge win right now. Roman definitely needs a huge win. Joe, I cannot even remember the last time he won at a pay per view. So I think both guys need a win, but at the same time, they can't just do like a no contest or some kind of screwy finish because this more or less is going to be the last time they face off because they're on different brands now. So there has to be the decisive winner. If I had to choose, I would guess Roman, but I don't know. But either way, I think it's going to be a really good match.
Oh, it's going to be a good match. It's going to be a match that I like because I that's the kind of match I like. The um, brutality, if you will.
It's going to be a
I
brutal
really,
match.
yeah. Uh, we won't get the ultra violent stuff that AA and I like so much, but it's gonna be. I'm hoping so anyway. Knowing Smojo, knowing Roman Reigns, it's going to be a slobber knocker. Sorry, JR
Yes,
reference.
JR.
And like Matt, if I had to pick, like I don't know how this will go, but if I had to pick, believe it or not, Samoa Joe. It makes no sense, especially earlier in the card. If Nakamura wins the championship, it makes no sense that you have Nakamura as champion and Samoa Joe coming out as a legit badass heel that just beat Roman. But I think that's what they're going to do.
Well, I'm going to go with Roman.
Well, I wouldn't question that. And everything in me says go with Roman for whatever reason. I can't.
It's kind of like me with Orton.
Yeah, I have to go Joe here. It makes no sense. It's not what my gut says. It's something else saying they're going to go with Joe. Either Joe or completely opposite of what Matt was saying, and it's going to be a faulty finish. But how many faulty finishes can you have like that? Like,
Look who we're talking about.
oh, I know. And I'm not a big stakes person. Like, yeah, it'd be better if the Universal Championship was on the line, I guess. But that means so little now that it's not a big deal. So there's no stakes, and stakes always kind of make a story better. They're not always necessary, but a no stakes match to me is Big Cass and Daniel Bryan. Like what the what's the point? And it's hard to explain. Joe and Roman, no stakes, but there's still something there. Not to go JBL again, but like that big fight feel.
What about you, Matt?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think their stakes would be better. I don't think it necessarily needs it, but we have seen this match a few times before, so I would just think that maybe it just needs that extra little something.
Yeah, the if we were told, see, this is where the GRR problem lies for me. If that didn't happen, and after WrestleMania, some kind of confrontation, something between Joe and Roman leading up to Backlash, like something. But after WrestleMania, in the hey, I get a rematch at GRR, like that. I'm optimistic. Period, and I'm usually excited for pay per view Sundays. I might not care for the card, but I'm usually anticipating like, hey, it's such and such weekend, it's such and such Sunday. This entire card, the backlash build, I'll watch it, but I feel that lack of like I usually feel on a pay per view weekend, even when they were not co-branded and they were every 2 weeks. Like, oh, you know, this is today, and Morris is the same. He, uh, Backlash is Sunday. Not can't wait till Sunday for Backlash. I mean, I don't know how to put it.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I was looking forward to this pay per view.
We like pay per views. just because they're pay per views, something to do, something to watch. We love wrestling and so on. But actually being hyped for it, Mojo Raleigh reference, we're like it's not like can't wait kind of stuff. Is that the entire card?
No, that's just the six confirmed matches.
I was about to
Yeah,
say we haven't talked about any tag matches or well besides the Lashley Braun.
yeah. Like the rumor going around is that there might be maybe one more match to be announced, but other than that, I think that is the full card. And as far as the one match goes, I'm going to go out on a limb and say maybe Riot Squad versus Bailey and Sasha. I think that might be what they're going for.
Yeah, I saw something earlier, like this morning, sometime previous me taking a nap and having a migraine, that was being rumored that they were going that direction. So there's no tag titles on the line. Bueller, Bueller.
Well, the thing with the tag titles is I don't think it's really necessary to have the tag team title matches on the card. I don't think it's really completely necessary. For me, if they did it, it would just feel shoehorned in, and that's why people have always been saying like there's not going to be any room for a lot of matches if they do co-brand. And I just say that it's like for me, not every pay-per-view needs to have every single title on the line.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I completely agree. I was just making sure I didn't brain fart again and forget that you know those if there were tag tag title matches and we skipped it or something. I didn't think there were, but that's also kind of odd.
Yeah,
That
a little bit, but
so what goes on the pre-show?
I would say maybe if the match is made, Riot Squad and Sasha Bailey. I think that would be it.
Yeah, the they won't do it, but just on the card alone, the Braun Lashley tag that's pre-show stuff. Given the card and the other matches, that's that's pre-show. Dead air, dead air, dead air, dead air.
Dead air, dead air, dead air, dead air.
Dead air, dead air. Fresh Prince of Dead Air.
Aha.
Nice, very nice.
Mm. So I think that calls it for a wrap up for this episode of Violent Wrestling Podcast of We're Back, Baby.
Yippee! It's been too long.
We also want to remind everyone to check out the other podcasts from our brilliant family, Shooting the Breeze, Two Men, One Sport, Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling. And Matt, please, let's have yours.
Well, you can catch me on Twitter at MiddleMet15. I'm also on Cage Side Seats. I'm in the daily and the nightly, in NXT and SmackDown threads as well. And I also have a podcast, the Ruthless Aggression Era podcast, every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And tomorrow night, that's tomorrow night as well. A new episode tomorrow night is going to be on both SmackDown Shut Your Mouth and WWE Anthology. And my guest for tomorrow will be none other than Mox.
Nuh-uh. Get out of here.
Indeed.
That Moss guy, he's a really good dude.
Yep.
Can't wait to listen to him.
And if anybody else wants to be on, just let me know.
So that wraps it up. So a good night to everyone. Thank you for those who listened, for those who will be listening. And we'll see y'all next time when we decide to do another one. Good night, all. Well, how can we get a hold of you, Mox?
Oh, I'm at Fireman6809 on Twitter. Violent Wrestling at gmail.com. Violent Wrestling Podcast at gmail.com is ours. I think we're doing a VWP episode after Backlash. Maybe not.
Yes. Yep, we are.
Okay. That will be the next time you hear from us. You'll hear me tomorrow on Ruthless Aggression. And by the way, that Matt is so good at the Ruthless Aggression era.
Thanks.
Nah. Don't get the big head. Just kidding. I was gonna say something and completely forgot. Hey, that's typical Mox.
And you can find
Thank
me
you
on
all.
you can find me on
Go ahead.
Twitter at Lady Roshana. That's LadyRoschana. Or you can find me on Cage Side Seats as Ambrose Alley. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
See ya.